Okay, I need to share a story about this book, which I just came across. And I feel like it needs to be recorded for journaling, for my posterity, just for this story to be told, because it was a really awesome story that happened. About 10 years ago, one of my daughters was moving bedrooms. So we were moving all of her things out of her room, and she had a bookshelf like this. This wasn't where it was, but it was similar, where she had books above, and below was a very large fish tank. Like that big. A fish tank full of water, and it was open. There was no lid on the fish tank. I am the kind of person that likes to bring all the groceries in at once and stack them across my arms, and I was the same way with moving her. I wanted to move all the books at once. So I grabbed a stack like this and held it like that. And it was actually bigger than that. It was a pretty big, wide stack. And when I was being in a hurry, I wasn't thinking about the fish tank underneath, but I felt pretty good because it was like a set. They were all the same size. I squeezed them together, and I pulled the stack over to carry. And as I did that, this book fell out and landed in the fish tank. And my hands were full of books, and I thought, that book is ruined. So I just left it in the fish tank and went and set these books down, and I reached in, grabbed it out, and set it down. And I thought, well, that's ruined. I didn't even bother to look at all the pages, because I've gotten books wet, and the pages stick together, get ruined, and I just thought, we're gonna have to throw that book away. And then I went and put the books in her new room, and I went back up to check on it, and I was like, let me see what book this is. And I was shocked when the book had no water damage, except there's like a couple pages that have there's like 3 pages that have some slight watermarks. But I was shocked when I went and I flipped through all these pages. And I was like, what book is this that it could withstand being totally submerged in water, and it was like totally fine. And I opened up the front cover, and it says, presented to Mary Rhoda Bare on her 12th birthday, July 31st, 1894, by her grandmother Stillwell. So I knew that this book, or I thought this book had come from a box of books that we had received from my husband's father. And I went to the top of the stairs, and my husband was sitting down at the bottom of the stairs, and I said, who's Mary Rhoda Bare? And he had his laptop open, and he looked her up on Family Search, and he said, oh, here she is. How is she related to again?
She's my grandfather's aunt.
Okay, so his grandfather's aunt. And he looked her up, and he said, hey, I said, has she been baptized yet? And he said, no, all of her siblings have, but she hasn't been. And so in our church, we go to the temple and we're baptized for our ancestors who were not able to be baptized in this life. And it forms a bond with you and them, that you're doing something for them, and then they in turn serve you in your life. They try to help you, and you help them, they help you. It's a great experience to draw closer to your ancestors.
And they have the choice to accept it or not.
And they have the choice to accept it or not. So I decided I'm going to go and be baptized for her. And I took her name to the temple and had a really, really, really spiritual experience. I felt just totally immersed in the spirit, and I felt like she was there. And we're going through a lot of hard times right now. And I just happened to, this morning, saw her I was going through some papers and I found her baptism card. And I thought, oh, I didn't realize I had kept that. And I was like, I do want to keep this. That was such a cool experience. And then I came over here and was looking through his books. And I didn't really know why I was drawn to look through the books. But I just was drawn to this book and I opened it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this story. And then I felt again her spirit. And I felt like she's helping us now. And she was grateful that we were helping her then. And I really, really, really know that there is life after death. And that our ancestors are really there. And that they help us. They're aware of us. They love us. And I know that she wanted to be baptized. That's why that book happened to fall in the water. And it happened to not be damaged. And it happened to stand out to me so much that I looked up who this was. And I know that it didn't happen by accident.
And I happened to read her story.
Oh, also, just today, he happened to come across, he had given a talk in church where he told the story, and he just read the story too. It's like she
just a few hours ago.
Yeah, all in one day, 3 encounters with her memory, and I felt really strong. I need to share that story, even though I don't like being on camera. So I'm sharing that for posterity's sake. A really, really, really cool miracle that happened.